so real and you're so alive when you're up there. I spend all of my time training not to die.
Chris Bulzini is Britain's top high-wire artist. A performer prepared to risk everything. Step up on the wire with an extraordinary artist as he faces the greatest challenge of his life.
I like to keep death in my mind. The more that you're aware that you're going to die, the better you live.
Chris has been asked to open the 2019 Norfolk and Norwich Festival with a walk high above the market square.
I'm really lucky as a performer that people invite me to entertain the idea of doing, such massive artistic statements. Both the fragility and the strength of human existence are visible in wire walking.
It will be his toughest walk yet. 220 meters long and a steep incline. Chris's team need 4 days to rig the synthetic rope that's stronger than steel cable.
We've got to get that across and make sure it doesn't get damaged because it's quite an expensive bit of rope. Several £1,000s worth of rope. Because it is a historic city, we can't just go drilling holes where we like. We, carefully seek permissions and make sure that we don't do any damage and annoy too many people in the process.
Come showtime, if the rope should suddenly move, it could throw Chris off.
When the cable gets wet, if you're wearing leather-soled shoes, the leather, instead of sliding nicely so we can slide out our footstep, trace the footstep across the wire, it kind of sticks, and that's really difficult because you feel like you're tripping. And then in dry conditions, a rubber-soled shoe is quite sticky. It's probably similar but very different to Formula One in that if you're choosing wet tyres, you want it to rain.
Even in rehearsal, Chris prefers not to attach a safety line. 20 meters above the market square, he tests for movement in the rope. The risk of falling is something Chris and his wife Phoebe know all too well.
About 1.5 years ago, Phoebe had a fall during training and she fell from 6 meters. She landed on her back and she broke her neck and 9 other bones in her body. Her life changed in that moment, and she's chosen not to come back on the wire. I think she's more aware of the dangers.
Chris and Phoebe have separated, and they now share care of their 2-year-old daughter, Nefeli.
So Nefeli's arrival onto this crazy world we live in is amazing. It's a total blessing. Yeah, that's right. Halfway across, he stopped again. Blondin crossing Niagara on a tightrope was no longer front page news. If I were to die young, doing what I do, I would really like to think that she would forgive me. Wow! Look at all those tricks he can do. That I lived and died doing what I really love. There it is. And then he's on a chair. You see the chair one?
At the Norwich rehearsal, Chris is about to attempt one of the most dangerous high wire tricks, a headstand. But there's a problem.
Constant wind is easier to work with than gusts. I can feel a gust coming, it starts and it builds and I brace against it. It feels sketchy because I've sort of leaned into it, and then there's no wind, so suddenly I have to rebalance myself.
He decides to attach a safety line. It's a precaution he never takes during a performance.
It wasn't, stable enough for me to get up on my head. There's just a lot of movement. But it's better to get out there and do it rather than not. Most dangerous bit is always the last few steps. I mean, when you arrive and you can feel the solidity of the thing you're arriving to, and you kind of relax, there's every danger of complacency. The most dangerous thing of all is always complacency.
Enjoy tomorrow's festivities at 9 p.m. That's right, the real show, tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Chris uses a range of different balance poles. They're an essential part of his kit. But they're not exactly an off-the-shelf item.
After another pole then today.
I might slightly change the dimensions. I mean, I've got to keep the weight mainly the same. Can I just pick one up? And is that 6 meters?
That is 6 meters long, yeah. How come you use steel anyway? Why are you using steel and not say like...
Well, basically when we rig a tight wire, it still has movement in it, it's still wobbly. So one of the things that the pole does, it gives us extra weight to kind of ground us and stop the wire from moving so much. So it gives us more stability by having more weight.
So what does one weigh overall? What sort of weight do you normally have?
Well, they vary. The heaviest ones that I've used were getting on for 20 kilos. A shorter, lighter pole for a work inside a circus tent, for example, it's usually a shorter wire and more dynamic tricks like running and jumping, and you can move the pole a lot more. And then the heavier, longer ones are either for long crossings outside. Because you've got the wind, because you've got the length of the wire means that the wire is less stable. So you want something that's really going to ground you. The pole is like your best friend until you start to leave the wire, and then it's like your worst enemy. It looks pretty cool. I think that might be the one.
Yeah.
When I pick up that pole, and it feels like an old friend. It's just the way that it's wrapped and the familiarity of having it in my hands is like really reassuring.
The new steel pole weighs 20 kilos, as much as a bag of cement. For the Norwich walk, Chris will need to carry it in front of his body for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's really good there. That's really good. In the build-up to a performance, I like to spend at least an hour with a yoga mat and a quiet space where I can meditate.
At showtime, a variable breeze continues to swirl around the city buildings. It's making this long, steep crossing the most difficult Chris has ever attempted.
It's about staying in the present moment. If my mind wanders off, then I'm not present enough to react to what's happening in that moment.
At the midway point, Chris must decide if it's safe to attempt the headstand. The wind is too strong. And there's still the hardest bit to come, the steep climb to the end.
The touch of my foot on the wire, the breath coming into my body and going out of my body are my anchors to come back to now, and that's how I can safely cross the wire. It's so real, and you're so alive when you're up there and you know the stakes. Nothing compares to that.
Chris's home is in the village of Evercreech, Somerset.
I bought this plot of land with my wife, and we had the dream to make this circus land where we are a family and we train and store our circus equipment here and watch the flowers grow and the fruit ripen on the trees.
Since his marriage ended, Chris is running the land and the business as a solo performer.
I must get asked to do somewhere between 20 and 30 big walks, big serious ones in a year. And I probably do 8 to 10 if I'm lucky. Someone will have an idea, they'll want a wire walk to happen. Then we need to get permissions and secure the money. And then we come up with a plan of how we're going to rig the wire. Ah, Nick, yeah, I got your message. Sorry, mate. The 1st of August, is it? Okay, I'm just going to go down to my calendar and check the dates. Well, I've just looked at the calendar. I'm just looking at the calendar now, and it looks like I do have a provisional booking for that date.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no problem. I mean, if that's the case, if for any reason that changes,
Yep.
I'll send over an email anyway, and if not, hopefully we'll get you for another year.
Smashing. All right, thanks ever so much for contacting me. I hope we can make something happen.
Lovely. Cheers, mate, and you. Take care.
Cheers, Ian. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, that's a bit annoying. It's like London buses, right? It's either they all want the same day or they cancel. This is about the extent of my mechanical knowledge anyway. Hopefully this is not where the oil's supposed to go. Heading up for a site visit. Often people can get quite nervous about doing a high wire walk because it's something so unusual. So I think a lot of the time people just like to kind of sit in a room with the guy who's going to do it and feel comfortable.
In Newcastle under Lyme, Staffordshire, Chris has been asked to do a 150-metre crossing at the launch of a circus festival. With senior rigger Brian, he'll work out if it's possible to stretch a wire from a shopping mall up to a medieval church tower.
It's a listed stone building that's probably pretty fragile. We'd probably need to pull it, I would say, within the region of 3.5 to 4 tonne over that sort of span, just to get it stable enough for Chris. I mean, we can pull it more, or we could have less tension in it, but obviously the less tension in it, the more lateral movement there is, and which is not good for the wire walker.
The more it would belly out.
Yeah,
so then
exactly, more deflection, so it then makes it steeper.
Steeper at the end.
Is, you know.
So
the tighter we have it, the less of an incline that there is. Whereas if there's less tension in the system, you get more deflection, and so towards the end it can get very, very steep. We've sort of looked at a couple of potential options. I mean, one of the main obstacles is access of getting equipment up here. It's not easy, but I mean, if it's easy, then everyone would do it.
So I'm off to see my dad. I guess my dad always was really career-driven and would go to the office and probably wanted me to follow in his footsteps and get a proper job and toe the line in society.
Do you know what he's doing next? Has he told you what he's doing?
Dad Keith lives with Chris's stepmum, Dee, in Cambridgeshire.
Okay, because we're going to go and see Grandma and Grandad?
Yeah.
Shall we knock on the door, rat-a-tat-tat?
Chris has always wanted to do something different, always knew what he wanted to do. It wasn't always what we wanted him to do, but he decided what he was going to do and he persevered at it, as he does now.
Oh, it's gone in the flowers.
Sorry, Dad.
That's all right, darling.
So what's going on in the next few months?
Lots of preparations, a few town centre Highwires up in the north of England.
Well, keep us informed about what's going on and we'll get along to see you whenever we can.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, it's lovely when you come and see it.
When he performs, I have to watch. I can't not watch. I suppose it's mentally willing him to complete the performance. If Chris did fall, I would be devastated. But I always assume that he won't.
After his parents divorced when he was young, Chris and his two sisters grew up with Mum, Jeanette.
Mum taught English and drama, and she also had a love of the stage. In fact, I first shared a stage with her in a village pantomime many years ago. Okay, shall we go in and take these flowers over to my mum's grave?
Yeah, these flowers are to your mum's grave too.
I'll take the red ones, you take the yellow ones.
I take the yellow ones, you got a red one.
So I was just about to finish my A-levels, just about to take my A-level exams, and my mum discovered she had cancer. She never smoked a day in her life, and it was lung cancer. And from when she discovered it, just before Christmas, she then died in March. It was really quick.
He was about to take his A-levels. He had a place at university, and after he'd taken his A-levels, he felt that he'd failed. And because of that, he ran away to the circus.
I was like, carpe diem, you know, seize the day, go for it, go and live before you die.
For the next 12 years, Chris lived abroad, earning a living as a street performer, mastering a range of circus skills, including wire walking.
In the beginning, I don't think I had a plan to stay away for a really long time. It was almost like, oh, but if I look into the next country and the next country, you know, what am I going to see?
Chris is now in demand across the world. But the world is about to be turned upside down by a pandemic.
Hang on, I'm just going to take this call, Nefeli. Hi, Julian. I'm just in the middle of something.
They want to postpone Iron Bridge.
Oh, crikey. Okay.
Oh, that surprise. But, so they want to move it back to the 12th of September.
Oh, crumbs. Wow, right at the other end. Well, I've had a cancellation in September, so I'm potentially free. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I mean, we are as well at the moment, so that's
Okay.
It's quite a good date in some ways.
Yeah. Well, it's just tough, isn't it? Because, I mean, that's the second one now, and obviously the consequence of the virus is that everybody's nervous. It's really difficult to know what we're going to do and, you know, get the money in and all the rest of it. Yeah.
All of Chris's gigs for the year are cancelled. But he can't afford to stop.
I'm really lucky to be here, and I'm really grateful that I've got this space. When it's beautiful weather and I'm walking on my wire and the birds are singing and the clouds are floating by, it feels like a paradise. We've got so much here. However, I would take it further. I really want to be able to have a big top on the land and have people flock in to watch shows here. I'd like it to be like a real, circus home.
Mr. Bulzini, go on that wire.
If you want to keep your wire walking at a level that's high enough to be able to do the bigger, higher, longer walks and do more and more tricks, you need to train every day. Keeps the balance muscles refined. Even if the world doesn't need a wire walker to perform for them right now, then it's good for me to maintain my identity as a wire walker.
With no gigs on the horizon, Chris has to find another way of performing. He's pushing ahead with his dream of producing circus shows on his own land. Socially distanced, of course.
My name is Jihan, I'm a rigger and I'm working for Chris. He likes to be doing shows, especially big ones. Yeah, he's so used to be under the lights, and he also had so many gigs this summer.
The performers and crew are all Chris's friends, and they're putting in their time without any guarantee he'll be able to pay them.
When there is money, it's good, we share it. And if there is no money, we still have to help each other to keep the business going, So if we don't help now, there will be maybe no Chris next year. But the weather is not helping.
Are you going to be okay in the wind?
Probably not.
I'm worried about you.
I worry about myself as well. More about the fact that I'm going to do it than what would actually happen. My God, who would do that? That's absolutely crazy.
I believe the real motivation of this, he realized he can do something that many people cannot. He has the right character to make something bigger.
Oh, look, the sun's come perfectly. Good timing. Should we do this thing?
Let's do it.
There was a gap about Highwire walking in the UK. There are not many artists doing that, and he became the best.
There are very few wire walkers around and very few people that want to walk on a wire. Chris is exceptional in that respect. Chris is determined to do what he wants to do. He likes the attention, he likes to be a performer, he's very sociable, and there is a great deal of camaraderie in the circus. He knows people all over the world, and I think that also gives him a buzz.
What an incredible thing, ladies and gentlemen, to see the circus, to be the circus.
Once he covered costs, Chris made nothing from the shows. But he's already planning for the future. He's eyeing up nearby Cheddar Gorge, the ultimate challenge.
Like with any athlete, I suppose, it's all about staying in shape, training, and to keep motivated to train, it's about having goals. I mean, at 42, then I've definitely got another decade in me if I keep it going. But if I stop, I don't know how long it will be before it becomes very difficult to get back in. I'm going to carry on doing what I do because that's who I am. Making art and bringing it out to people in whatever way I can is the only thing I can do.
Not even another lockdown stops Chris putting on shows on his land.
The only money I had in my bank account that would have fed me over the winter, all that money is now going into completing the making of this show.
This time, the only way the audience is allowed to watch is through a live web stream.
You don't have to go crazy on him. Come and check the anchor and let me just show you what's happening on this end. Everything should be fine. Right-ho. This journey to do wire walking, I really believe it's cost me so much. In terms of sacrifices, it's cost me money, it's cost me time, like it's all I do. And then, like really it's cost me, like to a large part, it's cost me my marriage and other friendships. And it's a weird thing because like people celebrate it and people are really grateful for it. And I feel like on the bigger picture, the world needs it. Like they need hope and they need to have people that do really unusual things. It inspires people to believe that really challenging things or impossible things are possible. Highwire walking is completely unique and it really is a different type of art form because there's this connection to death, life and death. When I'm up on the wire, 20 meters up in the air, and the wind blows and the wire's really moving and I feel scared, there's only one thing that I can do, and that's get centered, get focused, and then take one more step forward. But ultimately, we're on the tightrope and you can't get off it. We're walking forwards to the end.